unbelievable. I remember falling asleep at peace and waking up with the sun shining on my face, and just it hit me. I was in my own space and I was free.
Not all wounds are visible, but they can be just as deep. Today's guest, Regina Hiremath, knows the quiet, hidden side of domestic violence, the kind that leaves you no bruises, yet leaves scars on your soul. After surviving both child abuse and a 23-year marriage marked by narcissistic abuse, it took her 2 brave attempts to finally break free. But Regina's story isn't about staying in the pain. It's about reclaiming joy. She's gone from feeling disconnected from her life to becoming an author, a certified life coach, a motivational speaker, a divorce blogger, and even a travel agent, helping others rediscover themselves and the beauty of the world. Her memoir, Lessons on the Way to One Sum, chronicles her journey to healing and self-discovery. Her keynote, Shattered Without a Mark, is opening hearts and eyes to a reality too often overlooked. Regina, welcome to Positive Vibes.
Thank you so much for having me on, Nicki.
You're welcome. So, Regina, can you take us back to what life felt like during those years when you'd lost your love for living?
Yes, I was in a marriage overshadowed by narcissistic abuse. And the abuse was emotional, financial, and verbal. And I felt completely shattered and alone, not having many people who I could share my truth with. And when I did try a couple times, people didn't believe me because narcissists have a powerful way of creating an outside life that does not look like anything whatsoever like the life that you're living within the home. And so I felt terribly lonely and broken. And I didn't know what to do about it. I was just working through life day in and day out, just trying to get from one moment to the next until I couldn't.
Mm. That must have been very tough time to go through, especially when you're trying to ask for help or share what you're going through and you're not being believed. So you've written that it took 2 attempts to leave. So what made you return the first time and what finally gave you the strength to go for good?
Right. Well, my parents never married. And so I had this whole notion that I would get married and I would stay married. And that became a noose around my neck. I wanted to, you know, I wanted to beat the odds in my family. I wanted to be the first one to, stay married and have a successful marriage. And um, I reached a point where I couldn't take it anymore and decided to file for divorce. But my husband begged me to stay with promises of going to therapy, which we did for 4 years. But by the end of the 4th year, I realized that he had been going to appease me and not really going to work on true issues. So the 5th year, I went alone and prepared to leave again.
Wow, that's a big commitment to go back for 4 years and then, yeah, to realise that what you did, that he was there appeasing you, not wanting to change the ways for your relationship. So when you left, what did that freedom feel like the first day you knew you were truly out of that relationship, of out of all that narcissistic abuse?
Well, due to COVID, I ended up staying after filing the second time. I stayed for 5 months because, of course, COVID brought everything to a screeching halt. But I also
Mm.
wanted to find the perfect environment for myself and the kids. And when I finally made it out with an air mattress and 5 bags of things to get me by those first few days, it was unbelievable. I remember falling asleep at peace and waking up with the sun shining on my face, and just it hit me. I was in my own space and I was free. And that was going to be the beginning of this new life for me. It's almost as if it happened yesterday. I can
Mm.
remember it clearly.
Yeah. And
Amazing.
although you're free now, but after everything you've endured, how did you begin to start finding your way back to yourself, to find you?
Um, it was a process. Like I said, I had been in therapy and
Mm.
continued with therapy for several years after leaving, and took a look at the things that I missed or that I wanted in my life, and began to just put the pieces of my puzzle back together again. I couldn't play music loud. And so that became my morning ritual, playing loud music and dancing and
Mm.
singing. And I journaled a lot, which then turned into my divorce blog. And he didn't like to travel. So immediately, like a week or two after I moved in, I took a trip
Mm.
and I just began to go see the world and do some incredible things, which gave me so much freedom and peace.
Mm.
I cried on my closet floor because I didn't want the kids to see me broken. And I reconnected with friends who I had lost touch with, and who didn't know why.
Mm.
I just pulled the pieces of my life back together again,
Mm.
doing whatever it was that I wanted, whatever came to mind that
Yeah.
I thought would make me happy.
Yeah. So it sounds like you were bringing the joy back into your life, the stuff that you used to enjoy that you weren't enjoying in your relationship or couldn't enjoy. Was there a turning point where you realized when you were bringing this back into your life, I can live a whole new life?
I think the moment I walked out of that old house,
Mm.
because that was such a major step for me that I knew any step after that
Yeah.
would be simple.
Yeah. And you mentioned previously about your journaling. How did writing lessons on the way to oneself help you heal? And what do you hope your readers take away from it?
Um, I'd been in therapy and I'd done all these amazing things, yet, and I write for my divorce blog, but I felt that there was so much more that I wanted to express on a deeper level, um, almost in a way that is therapeutic. And I just picked up my laptop one day and started writing. I'm not a writer. I wasn't a writer before the blog, and I wasn't an author before
Mm.
Lessons on the Way to Want Some. But I had like this internal drive to share what I was going through with the intent of it being like the final piece to my healing journey, and also offering hope and healing to other people.
Mm.
So I wanted to write about the traumatic incidences that occurred with me as a child, and how that affected me coming into early adulthood, and just the story around meeting my ex-husband and some of the things that I experienced in the marriage. And then I talk about, of course, the challenges that I faced in divorce and what I learned about myself and the world, and how I wanted to show up in this new life.
Mm.
And I threw it all in there.
Mm. So you're an author, but you've also become a motivational speaker despite once fearing public speaking. How did you push through that fear getting on stage and talking so raw about your emotions and your life, what's happened to you?
And it's interesting because in high school, I took a D on a project because I didn't want to go up and present,
Mm.
and I was fine with that. Um, after working with the blog and the private community and wanting to grow my audience, I realized that I needed to use my face and voice um, to become more effective, to reach more people. And one of the things that I do is I post videos in my uh, private community that deals
Mm.
with emotions and some of the issues that we have centered around divorce. And as I was searching for um, speeches and different things, um, unbeknownst to me, I was training to become a speaker in that way. For over a year, was watching different videos. And so after saying, yes, I will use my face and voice, about a month or two later, I was asked to be one of the speakers for an abuse symposium. And the week of, I found out that I was slated to be the opening speaker.
Mm.
And for 5 months, I had been preparing this speech in my bathroom mirror with my fake podium on my counter and doing my thing. And when it was over, my friends were like, Laura, they wanted to know how did I do that? And I had to sit down and think about it when I got back home. And it was like I'd been secretly or just on my own preparing without even knowing that that's what I was doing.
Mm.
So was grateful
Yeah.
for that amazing moment of purpose, passion, and preparation
Yeah.
coming together.
Yeah. And that's a really good understanding that people just don't get up there and talk as they do. There's lots of preparation and yeah, work behind all that. So can you tell us about your work as a life coach and in your divorce community? What do you love most about helping others?
The interesting thing is that I've been a beauty professional for 30 plus years. So I've been
Uh-huh.
life coaching people before life coaching was even a thing.
Yeah, of course you have.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
That's where everyone goes and downloads their hairdressers and beauty therapists.
right. Exactly. So it just yeah, it came natural. But I came into this year wanting to have life coaching certification, which I did an accelerated program and completed it first quarter of this year. But the main reason behind wanting to do that was so that I could create workshops.
Mm.
And I'm currently writing a workbook that goes with OneSome. And I want to do like group sessions
Mm.
and workshops to just help people find themselves, find their OneSome. Yeah.
Mm. So, Regina, you've also been very busy with all your studies and you've became also a travel agent. What role has travel played in your healing and joy?
It gave me an opportunity to put a piece of my life back together that I missed so much during my marriage. And I have had some of the most amazing experiences. I've zip lined in some of the most beautiful destinations down in Mexico. I've gone off roading a few times, mud and dirt and something I'm really not into, but I guess I am now. And I have seen the sunset on Mount Haleakala, Maui, and I took a pedicab tour through Central Park by myself. And it is so amazing to just go out and live a life by design after all that I've been through. It just, it's, I can't even, I don't know that there's a word for it. It goes beyond joy.
It sounds amazing. It sounds like you were finding your inner child again and bringing that inner child out with all the activities you were doing and just having fun and, joy
Yes.
in life. So, for
Yes.
those listeners who may be still just in the surviving phase, what's one small step towards building a new life you can share with them?
One small step would be this was part of my process
Mhm.
as I was, contemplating leaving and feeling really down about myself. It came to me to do an exercise in recounting every single time in my life, starting at the age of 7 until that present day, that I had to rescue myself.
Mm.
And I wrote about each incident, how I rescued myself, and how it made me feel. And when I looked at all the total
Mm.
of all of these times that I saved myself, it let me know that I'm as powerful as I have always been at the age of 7. And that same strength that I used at the age of 7 still resides within me. And I can call upon it at any time and utilize it over and over again as I have throughout my life. So I know I'm well equipped. And I want people to know that that exists in you too.
Mm. Thank you for sharing that. And if you can go further, how could someone start reconnecting with joy when they feel disconnected from themselves? So, what are some advice around that?
Just start with the simple things.
Mm.
Look for joy in the simplest of things. I wrote a blog post about finding joy as you start over, and I wrote about the silly things that I did. Like I had my bed frame and no mattress, and so I blew up my air mattress and put it on the frame of my bed so that I could sleep on my bed.
Mm.
And as silly as it looked, because the bed was king size and the air mattress was queen size,
Mm.
it gave me joy and it made me laugh out loud.
Mm.
So I think it's really important to find joy in just the simplest of things. And once you start locating little pockets of joy, they grow and you look for more and more and you create more joy for yourself.
Yeah. And what's a daily practice that's helped you stay grounded and happy over this time? Do you have a daily practice, or is it something you do when you feel you need it?
I have lots of pick me ups.
You
I
do?
love music. So I
Ah,
start my morning singing and dancing. As I get ready for my day, I want to come into the day as happy as possible, listening to the songs that I love
mm,
and dancing and singing. And I I like to I like to read. I like to journal.
mhm,
Um, I like to I love in my private community. I'm in there daily posting motivations and memes and encouraging people, and they're always centered around the lesson that I learned in the last 24 hours.
mm,
So I start my morning before I even get out of bed reflecting on what is the single most important thing you learned in the last 24 hours.
mm. That's a
And I
nice
go
practice.
with that.
Yeah, that's a nice practice to have, and then you share it with your community.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very kind for you to do that. Yeah, because a lot of people probably would connect with a lot of what you put out there as well. So you mentioned before that you love traveling. You've been to lots of different places. What's one place in the world that absolutely lights you up?
Hmm. That's a tough one. It's really tough because every single place I've been to did that for
Yeah.
me. I've been to Cancun a couple times, and I love that. And I've been to Hawaii. I've been to Hawaii uh, twice in the last year and a half, and I'm going again in October. So maybe Hawaii,
Hawaii, yeah, that's my go-to.
Southern Mexico. I'm all over the place. I'm going
Yeah.
to Bali next year.
Ah,
So,
that's great. And is there a quote that you live by?
yes, it's one that I wrote and I share a lot
Mm-hmm.
with my community and my social media. And I wrote it several years ago, but it's my favorite. It's when life throws lemons at you, place them in a vase and call them decor.
Love it. Love it. I thought you were going to squeeze them and get some lemon juice out of it, but I love that. You can use it as decor. Beautiful.
Yes. Yes.
And what's the most unexpected joy in your life right now?
The most unexpected joy in my life right now is hmm, probably the idea that I'm getting into the travel industry and helping other people come into it as well,
Mhm.
creating other travel agents, giving them giving other people the opportunity to become travel agents and to foster their love for travel.
You're very busy with everything you're doing, travel also in your community, writing your books, and yeah, speaking. So, just on that, where can people connect with your work and you?
Um, you can find me at alamonialife.com. That's my blog. My book is there, the work that I'm
Mhm.
doing. Yeah.
Wonderful. I'm sure our listeners will be looking you up and reaching out to you and having a good look at your book as well. And if someone listening today feels trapped, what's one thing you'd want them to hear from you right now?
I'm There's nothing extraordinary about me. I have lots of trauma in my background. I made a decision one day to just turn my life around, not only for myself, but for others. And if I can do that, anyone can do that. You're fully capable of choosing yourself when you never knew you had the option to do that.
Well, thank you, Regina, for sharing your story today. It's such a powerful reminder that freedom isn't just about leaving something behind, it's about stepping into something better. You've shown us that healing is possible, joy can return, and life after pain can be more beautiful than we've ever imagined. So thank you for sharing today, Regina.
Thank you for allowing me to come onto the podcast to share my story.
You're welcome. And I'm sure there's a lot of listeners out there that will be resonating with what you've lived through, and also looking at how you've got through it and be looking you up. So just on that, this is Positive Vibes with Nicki Dennis. Until next time, keep choosing joy, keep choosing yourself, and never stop believing in your comeback. Sending you all love and positive vibes. Bye for now.